In the vast expanse of space, a new drama is unfolding, one that could reshape the future of warfare and global security. In 2025, former President Donald Trump unveiled Golden Dome, an ambitious space-based missile defense system to shield the United States from ballistic attacks. Golden Dome envisions a vast network of satellites forming a protective web around Earth. Supporters see unprecedented protection, but critics warn of a new arms race and the weaponization of space. The choices made now will shape humanity's future in the cosmos. At the heart of the Golden Dome proposal is a network of cutting-edge technology, a ballet of satellites, sensors, and interceptors working in harmony. The plan features two main types of satellites: surveillance platforms with advanced infrared sensors to spot missile launches, and interceptor satellites armed with kinetic kill vehicles to destroy incoming missiles. Golden Dome could require hundreds of surveillance and interceptor satellites, dramatically increasing the number of objects in space. Companies like SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril are expected to play key roles, providing rockets, data analytics, and AI. If successful, Golden Dome could shift the global balance of power and reshape international relations. For decades, space has been a peaceful domain of exploration and cooperation. But new initiatives like Golden Dome signal a shift, transforming the heavens from sanctuary to potential battleground. The U.S. has long used satellites for surveillance, but Golden Dome would be the first deployment of weapons in space, designed to destroy enemy targets. Critics warn this could spark an arms race and undermine decades of efforts to keep space free of weapons. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty bans weapons of mass destruction in orbit, but is less clear on conventional arms, fueling debate and uncertainty. The presence of such weapons could escalate tensions and make conflict in space far more likely. The United States is not alone in its pursuit of space-based military capabilities. Russia, a nation with a long and storied history in space exploration and a formidable military arsenal, has been steadily expanding its own military space program, raising concerns about a renewed space race between the two superpowers. In recent years, Russia has launched a series of new military satellites, including Cosmos 2575, a classified spacecraft believed to be designed for electronic surveillance and intelligence gathering. The launch of Cosmos 2575 follows a pattern of increasingly sophisticated Russian space activities, prompting speculation about Moscow's intentions and capabilities in the space domain. Adding to the concerns is the mysterious case of Cosmos 2499, a Russian satellite that disintegrated in 2024, creating a large cloud of debris in low Earth orbit. While Russia has offered no official explanation for the incident, some experts believe that Cosmos 2499 may have been an anti-satellite weapon test, designed to demonstrate Russia's ability to destroy enemy spacecraft. Perhaps most worrisome are the reports that Russia is developing nuclear-powered anti-satellite weapons. These weapons, if deployed, would represent a significant escalation and a blatant violation of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty and the 1963 Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which prohibits nuclear explosions in space. The increasing militarization of space has profound implications for the future of space exploration and, the sustainability of human activities in orbit. As more and more nations develop and deploy space-based weapon systems, satellites, which were once considered relatively immune from attack, are now becoming increasingly vulnerable targets. The consequences of a conflict in space could be honestly just devastating. The destruction of even a single satellite could create a cascade of debris, with each piece capable of damaging or destroying other satellites in a chain reaction known as the Kessler syndrome. This could render entire orbits unusable for decades, crippling global communications, navigation systems, and Earth observation capabilities. Beyond the immediate physical damage, an attack on satellites would have significant economic, social, and political ramifications. Satellites have become indispensable to modern life, supporting a wide range of critical infrastructure and services. Disrupting or destroying these systems could have catastrophic consequences, impacting everything from financial transactions and emergency response to weather forecasting and scientific research. The emergence of initiatives like Golden Dome and the growing military activities of Russia and other nations in space have raised fears of a new arms race. this time extending beyond Earth's atmosphere and into the cosmos. This new competition, reminiscent of the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, threatens to undermine international stability, divert resources from pressing global challenges, and increase the risk of conflict. The parallels between the current situation and the Cold War are striking. Both periods are characterized by a lack of trust between major powers, a reliance on military strength to ensure security, and a willingness to pursue technological advancements, even at the risk of escalating tensions. Just as the nuclear arms race of the Cold War cast a long shadow over the 20th century, the prospect of a new arms race in space threatens to define the 21st century. The development and deployment of space-based weapon systems will likely trigger a cycle of action and reaction, with each side striving to maintain or surpass the capabilities of its rivals. This competition could have a number of negative consequences. It could divert resources away from other critical priorities, such as addressing climate change, combating poverty, and improving global health. It could also lead to a breakdown in international cooperation, as nations prioritize their own security interests over collective action. As the militarization of space accelerates, the international community faces the daunting task of updating the existing legal framework governing space activities to reflect the realities of this new era. The current body of international space law, largely developed during the Cold War, is ill-equipped to address the challenges posed by the deployment of space-based weapons systems, the increasing vulnerability of satellites, and the potential for conflict in orbit. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty, while a landmark agreement that established important principles for the peaceful use of space, lacks the specificity and enforcement mechanisms needed to effectively regulate the complex and rapidly evolving domain of space security. For example, as mentioned earlier, the treaty prohibits the placement of weapons of mass destruction in orbit, but is less clear on the legality of conventional weapons. Furthermore, the treaty does not adequately address the issue of dual-use technologies, such as satellites that can be used for both civilian and military purposes. This ambiguity creates uncertainty and increases the risk of miscalculation or escalation, as nations may interpret the actions of others as hostile even if they are not intended as such. The increasing militarization of space poses a profound challenge to global security and stability. As nations develop and deploy increasingly sophisticated space-based weapons systems, the risk of miscalculation, accidents, and escalation increases dramatically. The potential consequences of a conflict in space, whether intentional or unintentional, are just too great to ignore. The destruction of satellites, the disruption of critical infrastructure, and the escalation of tensions between major powers are all very real possibilities in this new era of space security. The international community must act decisively to prevent these worst-case scenarios from becoming a reality. One crucial step is to reinvigorate international diplomacy and cooperation on space security issues. This includes strengthening existing treaties, such as the Outer Space Treaty, and developing new agreements that specifically address the challenges posed by space-based weapon systems and the vulnerability of satellites. Transparency and confidence-building measures are also essential. Nations should be more transparent about their space activities, including the development and testing of new technologies. They should also engage in regular dialogue and consultations to build trust and reduce the risk of misperceptions or misunderstandings. As we venture further into the 21st century, the choices we make about the future of space exploration and the militarization of the cosmos will have profound and lasting consequences. The development and deployment of space-based weapon systems like Golden Dome represent a dangerous path, one that could lead to a new arms race, undermine international stability, and increase the risk of conflict. Instead of weaponizing the heavens, we should be working together to ensure that space remains a domain for peaceful exploration, scientific discovery, and international cooperation. We must remember that we are all crewmates aboard Spaceship Earth, bound by a common destiny and a shared responsibility for the future of our planet and our species. The challenges we face in space are not insurmountable. By embracing diplomacy, cooperation, and a shared commitment to peace, we can create a safer, more secure, and more prosperous future for all humankind, both on Earth and among the stars. The time to act is now, before the window of opportunity closes and the consequences of inaction become irreversible.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.